Tired of ads barging into your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free news podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.
On today's Smart 7, inflation finally falls, veterans get a long overdue apology, and lots more. It's Thursday the 20th of July, it's International Chess Day, and happy birthday Sandra Oh.
The Smart 7. It's news, but
Not the news. Thursday is by-election day with a triple shot of democracy on the menu and a reminder not to forget a suitable form of ID if you're heading out to vote. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was blessed by the economy gods on the eve of the by-elections as he finally got some good news. For the first time since January, inflation was below the level expected by the markets, dropping by almost a full percentage point to 7.9%, a stat which left Chancellor Jeremy Hunt happy and cautiously optimistic.
It's obviously welcome news that inflation has fallen. And it shows that if the government and the Bank of England are prepared to take difficult decisions, we can win the battle against inflation.
7.9%, still 4 times the Bank of England's target of 2%, so we may not be out of the woods yet in terms of interest rate rises, and Labour's Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves is unimpressed.
The numbers today have confirmed that food price inflation, probably the most important element of inflation for most people, is still going up by more than 17%.
And with election fever in the air, Tory MP Bob Seeley picked his moment to mount a defence of the kamikaze Liz and Kwasi autumn budget.
The autumn budget, as the Bank of England and the Director of the Bank of England said, has absolutely no effect at the moment on inflation or mortgage rates. So that had a short-term blip, and that's well past.
Prime Minister's Question Time on Wednesday saw the big boys, well, the two leaders anyway, back in the Commons for a good old-fashioned pre-election sparring match. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer had Tory economics on his mind following Rishi's announcements about the new NHS workforce plan and his pay offers to striking workers at a time that the UK's national debt has reached 100% of GDP.
Is this uncosted spending coming from more tax rises, more cuts, or is it just the latest promise to fall from the Tories' magic money tree?
Bringing that legendary maths teacher energy is famous for, PM Rishi Sunak was busy poking holes in Labour's own tax plans, which include abolishing non-dom tax status, so beloved of Mrs Sunak, in a bid to raise an extra $3.2 billion a year.
Everybody knows that I'm a fan of doing maths to 18, but the honourable gentleman makes a very strong case for doing maths all the way to 61, quite frankly.
Wednesday marked an historic day for the LGBTQ+ community with the publication of a long-awaited independent review into the treatment of gay military personnel up to the year 2000. The report revealed shocking evidence of overt homophobia, bullying and sexual abuse at a time when gay people were officially banned from serving. Lord Etherton, who wrote the report, recommended a full apology be made in the House of Commons, and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak did so once it was published.
The ban on LGBT people serving in our military until the year 2000 was an appalling failure of the British state. As today's report makes clear, in that period many endured the most horrific sexual abuse and violence, homophobic bullying and harassment, all while bravely serving this country.
The review interviewed LGBT veterans and described what it called appalling consequences for their mental health and well-being and recommended financial compensation for those affected. Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, who served in the armed forces at the time of the ban, also offered his sincere apologies.
I cannot imagine what it must have been like to join the armed forces, buoyed up by the great spirit of service, and only to discover to your horror that many believe you didn't fit. I cannot imagine what it must have felt like to have been hounded out of a job you loved simply on account of your sexuality.
Donald Trump really doesn't get much good news on the legal front these days. He's just had a judge in New York dismiss his claims in the E. Jean Carroll case, effectively ruling that he did in fact rape the former journalist. Now he's also received a target letter from Special Counsel Jack Smith over the events surrounding the January the 6th insurrection, which indicates he may be shortly indicted in that case too. It comes as the Attorney General in the state of Michigan has pressed charges against 16 Trump supporters who conspired to create fake electors to help overturn Joe Biden's election victory. Donna Nessel says they could face decades in jail.
Undoubtedly, There will be those who claim these charges are political in nature. But where there is overwhelming evidence of guilt in respect to multiple crimes, the most political act I could engage in as a prosecutor would be to take no action at all.
Still to come on the Smart 7, the Women's World Cup kicks off and things get a bit succession on the picket line. Right after this.
Hey, babe, what you got there?
This is a check from Carvana. I just sold my car to them. I went online and Carvana gave me an offer right away. Then they just picked up the car and gave me this.
Oh, that's a big check. Well, obviously you could put this towards your next car, or we could finally get that jacuzzi, or I could start taking tuba lessons, or I could quit my job and write my memoir.
Or I can put it towards my next car with Carvana.
Sorry, your check, not mine.
Sell your car to Carvana. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get a real offer in seconds.
Welcome back.
Thursday sees the Women's World Cup officially kick off. It's hosted by Australia and New Zealand jointly, and the first two games feature the host nations, with New Zealand taking on Norway and Australia facing the Republic of Ireland, who've qualified for the first time. Police in Auckland say the opening game should go ahead, despite a deadly shooting that saw 2 killed and 6 injured in an incident that ended with the gunman also dead. England's Lionesses face Haiti on Saturday in a group that includes China and Denmark, and they're second favourites to win the tournament overall. Lucy Bronze says the tournament's important not just for football, but for the women's game overall.
I think it's us trying to drive change in women's football. People maybe focus on the numbers, but we're focused on the principle of how we can grow the game and what we can do to keep pushing ourselves, our own standards. It's about pushing every single angle that we can to make sure that women's football can, smash through that ceiling that we're constantly getting put under.
We're a week into the actors' strike after the SAG-AFTRA union joined their writing comrades on the picket lines. There have been a host of famous names waving placards, including Mark Ruffalo, Kevin Bacon, Rosario Dawson and more. 2 of the Succession cast also turned up, as Connor and Alan Ruck and Justine Loop were given Conhead vibes as they spoke to the media.
It's just corporatocracy. They're like, more work for less pay, right?
There's people that used to be character actors or people that could come on for a few episodes a year and make a decent living now can't make enough money to just get basic health care.
He's the world's most famous Belgian detective, and he seems to have been played by an endless number of British actors. Now he's back as Hercule Poirot, and his extraordinary moustache returned for another outing, with Hercule played by Kenneth Branagh alongside a pretty stellar crew, including Tina Fey, Michelle Yeoh and Jamie Dornan. Stand by for some awkward accent work. A Haunting in Venice hits cinemas on September the 15th.
Somebody is dead. No one shall leave this place until I know who did it.
A ghost killed her.
There must be a rational answer for all of this.
Just admit that you are up against something bigger than you.
No! You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Tired of ads barging into your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free news podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.